I'll start. So uh, just going back to some of what we were previously talking about is we need to measure data a little bit differently. So start to think about what are your true KPIs, what are true indicators of success. And if it's traffic and clicks and click-through rate in the traditional sense, maybe step a little bit back to get a baseline of some other metrics. Maybe it's impressions, maybe it's time on site, maybe it's bounce rate, maybe it's just total number of purchases month over month, year over year, et cetera. And then be willing and able to make A/B testing, right? You might not have to make all these changes at once, but just really think about what your end goal is. If it's purchases, yes, dollars and cents are going to matter at the end of the day, but maybe it's the brand lift, right? Maybe there's other metrics we can correlate with success from just the impression of being on the generative SERP. So I would say just pay attention to the data and be open to different data points moving forward.
Yeah, and one thing specifically for, I think, local businesses is the importance of Google Business Profile reviews, which have always been important, but I've seen direct correlation between quantity of reviews and quality. In some of the research, we've also seen excerpts from reviews pulled out where in the generative search experience, it will say, this pizza place, customers say this pizza place has the best square pie. Things of that nature, which like those little tidbits become really valuable. So encouraging people to, leave reviews, especially positive ones, becomes really important because quantity of review and quality of reviews, your star rating appear to be correlated with how you show up in specifically the places, Search Generative Experience, which is kind of looks like the local 3-pack if you're familiar with, traditional search engine results page.
I'm trying to pull it up because you had a good slide here, but
It's
sometimes
the last slide, I think, in the deck.
Yeah. Well, my computer didn't want to participate, but it's getting there, I promise. But I would love to visualize that for everyone.
Yeah, and while you're trying to pull that up, we have another question. Will increased A/B testing be wise to figure out how SGE responds? I think Jeri already touched on that about, the importance of A/B testing. And I think in general, as SEOs and marketers, we don't always have the answer, and what we think might work best doesn't always work out from a user standpoint. So I think A/B testing is always, always, always a great way to figure out how something resonates with your audience. I will say that A/B testing in a generative search environment probably is a little bit trickier because stuff could change so quickly. So being able to accurately set up your controls and your measurement points and your KPI to determine a winner becomes tricky. So when you're designing an A/B test, be aware of that. Make sure, that you're setting it up in a way that when you're finished with your testing period, you can definitively say, hey, this worked, or no, or let's try something new and try to get better information.
Thank you. And I apologize, learning how to use a computer for the first time apparently today. But I think this is a good visual that speaks to what you were talking about with the listings.
Yeah,
I didn't even realize that. Go ahead.
I was going to add in to Drew's point about getting reviews and paying attention to Google Business Profile. And this is just my personal opinion. I think paying more attention to SERP features, or what we call universal results, maybe where you didn't previously, and schema markup are things that I personally would suggest, because if you're telling the search engine what type of content you have, what type of images, what the purpose of your pages are, that I'm assuming would help the AI more quickly pick up if it's relevant to what Google wants to serve. Obviously, I don't know, but that's just a hunch I have as far as, just following just the general best practices of search.